After their 6-1 thrashing of QPR on Tuesday raised eyebrows in the EFL, could Blackpool make it back-to-back wins at Bloomfield Road as they faced in-form Coventry? Fellow promotion hopefuls Millwall also took on a team in the drop zone. Huddersfield Town were the visitors, hoping to build on their impressive draw with Norwich in midweek. But we begin at the Riverside Stadium, and with Sheffield United not in league action, Middlesbrough were looking to close the gap on that last automatic spot to 3 points. They faced Preston, who are unbeaten in their last 7 matches. Commentary comes from Paul Walker.
Riley McGree. Howson. Akpom. Archer. Akpom. Was there ever any doubt? Chuba Akpom does it again. Super Chuba brings the Riverside to its feet, and this is becoming a regular sight. Really well worked. Neat exchange there with Cameron Archer, and as soon as he got a sniff of goal, you just knew what was coming next.
He scored more goals in 2023 than any other player in the top 4 tiers of English football.
Diaby sols it short, and that invites Middlesbrough to break. Archer onto Chuba Akpom. Woodman able to deny him this time. It's now with force. McGree. Drilled across by Smith, and it eludes 3 in red. Lovely ball inside for Akpom. Here's Akpom. Fizzes one out to Giles. Plenty of red shirts in front of him. Archer's one of them. Oh, he's got in behind Diaby, who made a mistake. It's Archer! Well, he was nailed on to score against the team he represented for a short time last season. Cameron Archer doubles Middlesbrough's lead, and they have been good value for that lead, but it was a defensive slip that let Archer in, and Middlesbrough open up a 2-goal cushion. Archer gets clear of Diaby, steps inside again, and made absolutely no mistake with the finish. High into the top corner, and Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough firmly on course for 3 points that would close the gap on Sheffield United. Howson. Middlesbrough setting traps for Preston everywhere. It's Akpom. It's Archer. It's 3. It's all over. Middlesbrough at their very best. Cameron Archer's 2nd goal of the day, and that will seal it. They have been devastating. Every time they've gone forward, they've looked capable of scoring. Akpom turning provider this time. Archer drills it low and beats Freddie Woodman. 3 goals and definitely 3 points for Middlesbrough. Oh, the Middlesbrough supporters in full voice, but so too the Preston fans, who, despite watching their team trail by 3-0, determined to enjoy Gentry Day here. A fixture where they remember all of those Preston supporters who've sadly been lost over the last 12 months. As impressive as Middlesbrough has been on the ball, out of possession, they've been equally as impressive as well, limiting Preston to very little. Determined, no doubt, to make sure of the clean sheet as it's leave it into Cannon! Did Stefan get a glove on it? I think he might have done. Fernandez with a lovely ball across. Cannon had to take it first time. It is an excellent save from Stefan. A bit of a miscue, and Diaby's had his pocket picked, and Chuba Akpom is bearing down on goal. Oh, and he's fouled just outside the area as well. Diaby already on a yellow card, so we know what's coming, don't we? It is red for Bambo Diaby. Chuba Akpom racing towards goal, and the only way that Diaby could stop him was to take him down. Preston finishing this game with 10 men. It's Mowat. Oh, it's off the underside of the bar. No one in red able to follow in. Alex Mowat a whisker away from making it 4. Woodman nowhere near it. Giles bursting for the line. Might not be done yet. Force adds more gloss to the scoreline. Marcus Force gets in on the act. All made by Ryan Giles. And Marcus Force was there to turn it in at that near post. A scintillating display from the men in red.
To Borough's north-east rivals next, as Sunderland had quickly seen their own playoff hopes fade, having suffered 4 defeats in 5. Another stern test awaited as Luton were chasing a 4th consecutive win. Commentary comes from Dan Mason.
Here's Jack Clark. Sunderland using the wings well so far. And Clark's tormenting Cody Drammer here. And this is Dan Neil. Oh, off the frame of the goal. The youngster's so close to the opener. And what a goal it would have been. Measured almost to perfection. Bar. Looking for Clark. And finding him. Drummer with the miscue. Clark surrounded by defenders. And appealing for handball after hitting one of them. Referee Scott Oldham unmoved. It's Cody Drammer that it hits. Was he moving his arm towards the ball? Or was he trying to get out of the way? The 9 clears under pressure. Hughes lost it to Campbell. Carlton Morris now with Doughty steaming forward. Alfie Doughty! Great save by Patterson. That was on its way from Alfie Doughty. Good save, low down by the goalkeeper. Doughty will take the free kick for Luton. They're having their best spell of the match. Short one from Doughty, who shoots. Oh, it's gone all the way through. Luton take the lead, thanks to Alfie Doughty's 2nd goal for the club. Anthony Patterson will be furious with himself, having just made the save from Doughty moments earlier. Another clean sheet would see Luton home, now that they've got something to hang on to. But here's the Sunderland corner. There's O'Nien, parried by Horvath and cleared by Lockyer. Luton survive an almighty scare. Luke O'Nien improvising a volley, but Horvath equal to it. Sunderland have responded well. And increasingly, time is against them now. Here's Diallo. Little 1-2 with Pritchard. And Diallo goes down, but nothing's given. Referee Scott Oldham. Oh, now he's given it. After some thought, the referee points to the spot. Bell on Diallo. It's very soft, I have to say. Luton have won their last 3 games by 1-0, but not today. Ahmed Diallo scores, and Sunderland are level. Diallo absolutely burying the penalty, which he won himself. And it's 1-1 now.
Now for a relegation 6-pointer, as Rotherham and Cardiff squared off, knowing that a win would go a long way to securing their status in the Championship. Cardiff, the Championship's lowest scorers, but this is a positive surge from Callum O'Dowda. Philogene. Romeo takes up the play, floats it for O'Dowda, who continued the run, and it's Philogene! Cardiff lead in the 5th minute of the game. Cool, classy and composed. The away fans go crazy. The Aston Villa loanee applied a consummate finish. Cabot, midweek scorer with a good header there. Kiona Tate. Oh, that's divine. Sublime skill from Atete. Philogene. And still so comfortable on the ball. Drew the foul there. Humphreys with the challenge. Matt Taylor looking understandably concerned on the sidelines. Perry-Ng standing over this set piece and going for glory. And coming so close. Brilliant strike from Ng. Hit that with terrific power, and the woodwork comes to the Millers' rescue. Can the home team create something? They started the day a place and a point above their opponents. Here's Chidozie Ogbene, the Republic of Ireland international. Got the laces through that one, wasn't far away. Sorry, Cabot is a willing runner, and he's kept it in play. Shea Ojo is in here, he's only just come onto the pitch. Johansson denies him. Well, the South Yorkshire heavens have opened big style. That says it all. The rain lashing down mercilessly, making life very difficult for the players. Early in this second half, the ref might have a decision to make here. They're doing their utmost to adapt to what have become treacherous conditions, nigh on impossible. You can see the surface water both on and just off the pitch, and Oliver Langford is taking the two teams off. The match at Rotherham was abandoned, but plenty of action to come, including Wigan's visit to Watford.
Not the best time for Wigan to come calling. Watford haven't lost at home since Boxing Day, and they might have taken the lead here had joint top scorer João Pedro got his geometry spot on. Mind you, it does look as if Chris Wilder is starting to weave his magic in just his third game in charge. Take Keenan Davis, a scorer in midweek after 16 games without a goal, but full of confidence again now, and ready to take on Wigan single-handedly and make it count. 6 league goals and rising for him. So far, so good then against a Latics defence that's one of the most generous in the Championship. But even though their recent record didn't inspire much confidence either, they still believed. And James McLean led the charge back with an absolute peach of a header as the visitors sparkled into life after the break. That's a first goal for him since November, and a potentially precious one at that. Wigan really caught the eye in the second half with some attractive football, yet they still might have made that long journey home empty-handed. As the Hornets looked to find a little extra sting up front, Imran Lousa unleashed an absolute rocket that somehow stayed out. With promotion and relegation on the minds of both teams, tempers became a little frayed at the end. Both managers were in trouble with the referee after a touchline dispute. The fight to go up and avoid the drop intensifies.
With a 4-point cushion on the pack chasing the final playoff position, Millwall are looking good to be involved in the drama come May. But Gary Rowett knows how quickly that gap can close and had his side firing from the off. Andreas Vogslammer over after just 5 minutes. No Huddersfield player had actually scored a goal in 5 matches. Norwich's Grant Hanley put through his own net to gift the Terriers a point midweek. Neil Warnock's side felt they should have had the opportunity to end that barren streak from the spot, but the referee wasn't interested in Josh Karoma's appeals. Dan McNamara, the Millwall defender, that provided the contact. The wait for an actual goal scored by a Town player was soon over though. Half-time substitute Danny Ward with a clever finish. His first in 5 months, and one that could prove priceless in the battle to avoid the drop. Once again, the Championship makes a mockery of the form book. The Chasers close the gap ever so slightly on Millwall. Scott Malone's speculative effort late on, close to rescuing a point. Rowett will regroup over the international break before returning to action against West Brom on April Fool's Day.
Blackpool boss Mick McCarthy said after last week's big win over QPR that it couldn't be a one-off and they couldn't afford to be up and down like a fiddler's bow. They started with the confidence the 6-1 win brings, CJ Hamilton not far off giving them a third-minute lead. On 14 minutes, a moment of controversy when Coventry's leading scorer Victor Gyökeres appeared to lash out at Callum Connolly. Referee Jeff Eltringham was quickly on the scene. Yellow card shown, though Gyökeres could perhaps count himself lucky. McCarthy later said Gyökeres gave his man a right, then a left and a follow-through with the foot. There was a sucker punch too 5 minutes later, as Gyökeres was involved in the goal that gave Coventry the lead. His run down the left before a pass to set up Ben Sheaf to score his first in the league this season. In his lengthy managerial career, McCarthy had never lost a home game against Coventry, winning the last 5 in a row. And there was hope of preserving that record on 35 minutes. Coventry claimed Carl McFadson's challenge on Morgan Rogers was outside of the box, but the penalty was given and Jerry Yates made it 1-1. 2 penalties in 2 games for him. Not long after that, Blackpool had another penalty shout. Yates, bearing down on goal, appeared to be tripped by Gustavo Hamer. This time the penalty appeals were waved away. Like Yates, Curtis Nelson also scored last time out in that 6-1 trouncing of QPR, and he got himself on the score sheet again. Unfortunately, this one was in his own goal. Hamer took the plaudits, but his corner had found its way in off the unfortunate Blackpool defender. Coventry's McFadden knows exactly how that feels, having put through his own net late on in Tuesday's 1-1 draw with Wigan. Now he too experienced that contrast of emotions in reverse, with one at the right end to put Coventry 3-1 in front. Hamer had a hand in that one and was involved again in goal number 4, this time seizing on a misplaced pass before teeing up Matt Godden, who scored his 6th of the campaign. An emphatic victory for Coventry. They're now unbeaten in 9 to keep themselves in the playoff mix. Blackpool very much in the relegation mire, a hard watch for their fans, many of whom made an early departure.
Norwich had every reason to be wary of the curse of the ex-manager after Stoke's 5-1 win at Sunderland a fortnight ago. They also knew they had to improve their strike rate, which Josh Sargent failed to do in the game's first opening. 1 point and 1 goal in the last 2 games is not a trend to develop in sight of the playoffs. How much would Stoke fans love to be gunning for a Premier League return like Norwich, who started today in 7th? Instead, they had to watch Angus Gunn turn on the style in the visiting goal, beating away Will Smallbone. Alex Neil would soon see why Gunn was called up by Scotland last week for the first time. Because the young gun was in defiant form on his return to the club where he spent a season on loan, Jacob Brown, who'll be joining him in the Scotland squad, was the next to feel frustrated. David Wagner just grateful to his last line of defence as the home side dominated possession. The second half evolved like the first, pretty much Gunn against the rest, led by Brown, who just couldn't find a way through past the man in black. And even when Gunn was beaten, Stoke didn't hit the target. A miss as good as a mile for Ben Pearson as City piled on the pressure. Stoke's unbeaten run continues as they chase a top half finish. Norwich will regroup, knowing that Sheffield United, Blackburn and Middlesbrough are waiting for them after the international break.
Liam Rosenior spent 3 years at Reading as a player. He arrived with his whole side for a battle between 2 teams very out of sorts. The Tigers made the better start. 21-year-old Iranian Alayeh Saidamanesh is still waiting to score his first of the season. Liam Moore, making his first start in more than a year, had to leave the field after just 15 minutes. The reorganised Royals defence was ruthlessly exposed 10 minutes later, undone by the simplest of give-and-goes. Regan Slater started and finished the move. Rosenior's first home match as Hull boss was a defeat against Reading back in November. After the game, he had plenty to say about the performance of referee Gavin Ward, who he felt missed a blatant red card. Ward was back in charge again today and didn't think this was worthy of a penalty. The gaffer made his feelings clear again. His mood would have dipped even further when Reading drew level. Andy Carroll normally loves an aerial duel. He ducked this one and mopped up the pieces. That was his 7th of the season. He's only scored 6 in total in his previous 4 seasons combined. Carroll was left out of the squad for the midweek trip to Blackburn due to injury, but seems to have discovered a newfound resilience in the twilight years of his career. Late on, Dimitrios Pelkas's volley close to taking all 3 points for Hull. But his manager felt they should have had this one wrapped up much earlier. On the final whistle, referee Ward was firmly in his sights. The war of words continued, a yellow card for his troubles.
Gareth Ainsworth said his players were feeling fragile after their 6-1 hammering at Blackpool in midweek. They conceded a goal after 3 minutes at Bloomfield Road, and they were at it again here, behind against Birmingham with bums barely on seats, thanks to Tahith Chong's 4th goal of the campaign. A real shot in the arm for a Birmingham side who'd only won once in their previous 7. Rangers started the afternoon with the joint worst defence in the division, so keeper Seny Dieng is used to being busy between the posts, but he was going to have to be at his sharpest to make sure the early damage was limited. Lukas Jutkovic was the man to ask the question there, and the Blues striker would push the QPR #1 to even greater heights after the break, as Dieng kept his teammates in contention. Could they build on that? Well, having not been able to muster a shot on target in the first half, the home side began to show flashes of danger. Jimmy Dunn going close. Another corner offered hope, but as their results suggest, Lady Luck has turned her back a little on the R's for the time being. And as Lyndon Dykes continues to try and feel his way back to fitness and form, his feet just wouldn't play ball. 4 defeats in his opening 5 are a big worry for the manager. Happier days, though, for the visitors.
Middlesbrough thrashed Preston to boost their automatic promotion hopes. A big win for Coventry at Blackpool and a vital one for Huddersfield in their survival bid. With the top 2 in FA Cup action, Borough took advantage to close the gap to Sheffield United to 3 points. Coventry are up to 8 and 1 maximum away from the playoffs. At the other end, Wigan stay bottom despite picking up a point at Watford. Huddersfield are up to 22nd, 3 points from safety. In League One, Derby lost at home for the first time since October as they went down to Fleetwood. Jayden Stockley's stunning volley via a deflection from keeper Joe Wildsmith set his side on their way to a 2-0 win. With Sheffield Wednesday held to a draw, Plymouth and Ipswich both capitalised with 2-0 home victories, while Barnsley edged past Wickham with a late winner in Buckinghamshire. The leaders' advantage is cut to just 1 point. The 3 teams below them all triumphed. Another big win for Peterborough lifts them to 7th. Forest Green are marooned at the foot following their latest defeat. MK Dons' narrow success at Accrington means the 2 clubs swap places either side of the relegation line. In League Two, struggling Colchester produced a remarkable late comeback to snatch a 2-2 draw at leaders Leyton Orient, with Noah Chilvers grabbing the stoppage time equaliser. Elsewhere, the O's fellow promotion hopefuls Carlisle and Stevenage played out a goalless draw. Bradford could only draw with Hartlepool. More on Rochdale's 8-goal thriller with Swindon in a moment. Leyton Orient still lead by 6 points. Northampton's win over Crewe lifts the Cobblers back into the top 3, with Carlisle dropping to 4th. At the basement, Crawley's triumph at Wimbledon lifts them out of the relegation zone at Hartlepool's expense. Below them, Rochdale continue to prop up the table, but did add a point to their tally. And that's where we end today's programme in a truly remarkable game in the Northwest. Veteran Swindon striker Charlie Austin scored 4 goals in a sensational display, but they still weren't enough to bag all the points as Dale clinched an incredible draw in stoppage time. From me, Jack Woodward, and the rest of the team, thanks for watching. We'll see you after the international break in a fortnight's time. Goodbye for now.